my attitude about gays has always been what they do in the privacy of their own, whatever is their biz, keep their hand off my knee and we're cool.
That's it.
However, would it be disruptive in a combat kind of situation? I'm still mulling that one over. I don't know.
If they can shoot a gun and fight and get an enemy off of me that's trying to kill me, I don't care. But, if they got the same tenacity as any other combat soldier, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would think in the end it would hang on whether combat effectiveness was degraded or not degraded, and we won't know that until some years pass. So the experiment continues, I guess.
My personal feelings is that I consider it wrong, but that doesn't mean I'm going to persecute them either. That's wrong too. It's not my place to judge. I didn't create their life. I'm not.
Yeah, politically, I'm pretty much of a libertarian. Hands off me, hands off you, that kind of thing.
But my personal opinion now, I'm also pretty traditional. To me, it's wrong, but that's not my place to decide.
Okay. Glad you answered it. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with David Adair and Art Bell. Hello there.
Hi. How you doing?
Where are you?
I'm in South Texas.
South Texas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask him if he would make any connection to the AFTI program.
STI? SDI?
No, AFTI. Advanced Fire Technology Integrated.
What does that stand for, that acronym?
Advanced Fighter Technology Integrated.
Oh, I think he mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, with the Tier Lab in New Jersey with research doing with McDonnell Douglas on the F-22. They're trying to incorporate now their symbiotic technology where the craft could read the thoughts of the pilot. But also they ran into an interesting problem there, Art. They're having to do a reversal with the system. Sometimes they have to screen the pilot's thoughts away from the craft.
Say that again?
Well, they have to screen the pilot's thoughts away from the craft because it could get him killed. For instance, the pilot goes home that night.
Yeah.
He or she catches their mate in bed with a whole bunch of other people. So they're having a bad day. Next morning they got to strap in that fighter, and they're not concentrating. If the aircraft can sense their frustration, they could hesitate. And if it hesitates in a tenth of a second in a dogfight, it makes a difference between you live or die.
Yep. That's for sure. Wildcard line, you're on the air with David Adair and Art Bell. Hi.
Hi, this is Sandy from Las Vegas.
Hello, Sandy.
Hello, Mr. Adair. I had a chance to see you when you were here last year with the Whole Life Expo.
Oh, okay.
And I really must compliment you. This is the fourth time I've heard a little bit of your story, and you're an excellent speaker.
Yeah.
You make it fresh every time. A couple things you shared, I don't know if you shared them on the program, if you're willing to. You made a comment one time that one of the telescopes we have in space, the pictures go to a hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And also you made a comment about something that's housed in a Jesuit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like you to share that with some other people also.
Yeah, like me. I haven't heard any of this.
Right.
Satellite that goes...
the Hubble telescope, the command center is in Johns Hopkins Hospital.
What?
Go look it up. That's exactly where it's at. The private contractor is housed at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. This is a dangerous thing when they play words in the space arena. They say they're privatizing the space program. That's not the word you want. You want commercializing. When they privatize, you get this situation. This private contractor that receives command signals from the Hubble telescope, the images, does not have to show you what he sees for 6 months. Unacceptable. And that's the way the status quo is right now. So I believe in real time, like the Viking 76, when it lands there, we see it live, uncut, not delayed, and we see it together. The other thing she talked about, here, I'll show you another thing, the National Technology Transfer Center of NASA. Okay, what do you think the headquarters of that should be? That's where we transfer the technology.
Where do I think it is? Houston, probably.
Well, it should be like where it was, Washington, D.C. or Houston. No. You know where it's now? Look it up. Jesuit College, Wheeling, West Virginia.
Jesuit College?
It's in the middle of a Jesuit college.
What?
I'll give you the 1-800 number to it.
No.
Anyhow, the thing is, how to get there. Well, ask the Pope of Pork Barrel, Senator Byrd. And it's a bad situation. They tried to bury the Technology Transfer Center, and they stuck it up there to kill it.
Oh, Senator, I've got a highway for you, Byrd.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, I see.
It's
But at a Jesuit college?
Yeah, it's in the middle of that's its address. I'm looking at it right here, Jesuit College, Wheeling, West Virginia. And you can call 1-800.
No.
Okay.
Don't give that out. A
Okay.
million people will call it, and we will bring their business to a total halt, whatever their business
Well, it doesn't
is.
matter. They wish they could get some business. I work with them, and they feel buried and isolated because they are such a commercial enterprise. They do so well with space, and right now NASA's policy is they're not that interested in commercializing space. It is as a competitor.
All right. Well, you've given people all over lots to chew on, David. Stand by. In some markets, we'll be back with one more hour for David. Oh, my. So, this is something for you all to think about, a little, or a serious amount of brain food. Could what he has said be true? And if so, what does that tell us about our own government? Are you surprised? Or are you so cynical by now that you're ready to believe just about anything? Time to set it all free, let it all out. I'm Art Bell. This is Coast to Coast AM.
Now again, here's Art.
Once again, here I am. Good morning. David Adair is my guest, rocket scientist, guy who has testified in front of Congress. And if you have a question for him, we'll try and concentrate as hard as we can on the lines in the last hour. Now, back to Georgia and David Adair, where it must be after 5 o'clock in the morning.
That it is.
So you're a good trooper. Doing very well. First time caller line, you're on the air with David Adair and Art Bell. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Where might you be?
I'm in Albany, New York. I'm a truck driver. Mr. Bell, I'd like to thank you for your show.
Thank you.
There's plenty of us out here, I'm sure, that would like to thank you for your show. You keep us awake at night. David, I'd like to ask you a question. Is there a thing as magnetic propulsion?
Oh.
Yes, there is. We don't have any working prototypes that I'm aware of right now. But the theory on the magnetic propulsion systems that was one of the 60 engines I talked about earlier that NASA has identified we could use and just need to build them.
How, if you can explain to a layman, thank you, caller, would a magnetic engine work?
There's varieties of ways they can work. One simple way is for a craft that would be able to focus its energy of a gravity field on a planet. A gravity field of a planet can be, the way it flows from north to south poles, can gravitate in what would be related to aircraft flying vectors. And you can just simply polarize them to the beams by using a reactionary process of the magnets, of whether it's positive or negative charge, and you would propel or either pull or push away from that power. You could travel scooting across the surface of a planet. You could also go from planet to planet.
Wouldn't that, though, let's assume that you're pushing for the sake of our conversation, that would require an incredible amount of push energy to defy gravity within the atmosphere, surely.
It would require an extreme concentrated source.
So there would be gravity amplifiers. There would have to be a source, a generation of artificial gravity, and then an amplification and a direction of it, right?
Right. Well, the big stumbling block, you already said, anti-gravity. To get an anti-gravity field, right now, as far as I know, there is no such thing as anti-gravity available to 3D science. If it was, we wouldn't be using rocket engines. A lot of people say it exists. Well, just give me a phone call. We'll make money. So it's that's one of the big stumbling blocks, is that we haven't been able to master the anti-gravity effect yet, at least on a mass scale where we use a big prototype engine like that.
With reference to a guest I'm going to have on tomorrow night, could you think of the Earth and the gravity field as a toroid?
As a what?
As a toroidal type thing.
Yeah, it could be. They're hard to say. They're interrelated upon each other, as in physics. So I don't know what the other aspect would be on them. Is he relating it to any type of mental activity?
I don't want to give this away because
Okay.
it's going to be very, very interesting tomorrow night. You already answered my question. You'll be interested in my guest tomorrow night. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with David Adair. Hello.
Good evening, Art, and good evening, Mr. Adair. It's Robert from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adair, I would hope, I have two things for you, sir. Number one, I would hope that before you become deceased that you would consider very strongly doing an autobiography